So you remember that TrackMania game? Yeah, the one that you don't fully own no matter how much money you've put into it? Turns out the base game is free to play. But is it good? Well, just before I get into it, I've not played the multiplayer stuff because I prefer single player, among other reasons I'll mention later, and I've not done the track editor stuff as of yet, so this is more of a gameplay overview. Here's the main menu. I really like how simple it is. I can see exactly where I need to go for a certain feature, except for the options menu that's hidden in the corner for some reason. There are many tracks. In just this free version, there's something like 100 levels to play, maybe even more, each with both a timer and medals to aim for depending on how good you are. I mean, I'm just saying. This means that it's going to be a while until you've run out of stuff to do. Even if you've played every level to completion, you still can speedrun certain levels to see how close you are to both your personal record and other people's in your country. Now onto the gameplay itself. If you've ever played a TrackMania game before, then you'll probably be glad to hear it plays basically exactly the same. No weird gimmicks from my experience. Although I've not played much of the previous entries, so I can't give direct comparisons at the moment. You're given a basic car which you can customise cosmetically, as far as I know. Now that I write this, I realise how little I've actually done in the game as of yet. The standard car feels really good to drive with on tarmac, or whatever this texture is. I've never felt myself get frustrated because of the driving physics, so that's good. With most games, the car's physics are much more important than the stage design, but with a game like TrackMania, the stage design will make or break the experience. As much like a Hot Wheels set, the bigger and better the tracks look, the more likely people will buy it. So I'm glad to say the track design is awesome. There's 5 types of terrain you drive on in the training levels and other officials levels. Asphalt, I think, grass, dirt, ice and more ice? Or whatever they call the surface in curling or bobsleigh. This adds both more challenge and frustration to the game, as in a lot of harder levels, the devs use these surfaces multiple times in the same level, hence the player needs to learn in real time how to adapt to each surface. There's also the standard loops, ramps and stuff like that, but with wall driving, slow motion and DeLorean mode track pieces, there's a good amount of depth to level design. I really like how each stage is really short, besides a few exceptions, as my attention span is practically non-existent, so when each stage is less than 30 seconds, it feels like winning the gold medal is a lot more achievable than in more traditional racing games, hence I'm sucked into the gameplay for longer periods of time, for better or for worse. I think that's all I have to say with regards to the good. Now here's some of my criticisms. One problem that's not too big now, but the implications are a lot scarier, is that it seems now 2K isn't the only franchise with in-game advertising. From what I've played so far, I haven't seen any real-world ads, fortunately, but the game asks you to opt in to personalised advertising as per GDPR regulations. So how far Ubisoft will push this remains to be seen. The other issue is what I opened this video with, is locked content. About half of the main menu is locked behind a paywall, a yearly subscription, might I add. There are other games that do this, but personally TrackMania doesn't seem the right franchise to implement this, considering how much of the game is community driven, like leaderboards, custom maps, clubs, etc. Back to the main question. Is the base game good? Well, obviously that is subjective to a certain extent, but I'd say yes. Yes it is. Whilst there's not as much content as in previous games, at the same time, it's free. And considering there's a lot of content even for the base version, what's there to lose? So that's the video. Before I wrap this video up, I do want to clarify the game only released a few days ago, as of when I made this. So by the time you watch this, it may be a very different game, although hopefully for the better. If you've got any thoughts on the game, leave them down below, and I'll read as many as I can. Thanks for watching, and go make a cake for someone, because cake tasty. See ya.